The clip you're watching here looks like two lovers celebrating Holi, carefree and in love, isn't it? But wait, the girl in the video is Muskan, a married woman, and the man beside her is her secret boyfriend. And what makes this moment so terrifying isn't the color on their faces, but the timing. Because within days of this celebration, Muskan's husband would be found dead. A few days earlier, on a quiet evening in Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, a 28 years old Muskan Rastogi was typing something furiously on her phone. And then a message flashed saying, "Don't worry, my love, he will be gone soon." Who sent it? And who was about to be gone? Well, the answer was simple, and the message was about Muskan's husband. And on the other end of the phone was Sahil Shukla, her secret boyfriend. But Sahil wasn't trembling with fear, he was trembling with anticipation. He was already in too deep and too far gone to turn back. While he was thinking deep, and another message appeared, this time from a strange Snapchat account, and the display name read as Ma. You might wonder why Ma. Well, you will understand that soon enough. But the message said, "My son, trust her. She is sent to complete your destiny." Sahil exhaled and is half terrified, half convinced that the universe itself has chosen him. He typed back saying, "I am ready." Back in the house, Muskan's emotions didn't change. She deleted the fake chat she had just sent. For weeks, Muskan has been weaving lies into faith and turning Sahil's devotion into most dangerous weapon. And suddenly, Muskan's husband, Saurabh Rajput, is back from work after months away staying in London. He smiled warmly, saying, "Muskan, it's long." Muskan forced a smile in return. Her eyes didn't soften, but behind that smile, Muskan emotion buried under a layer of desiccate. Saurabh hugged her, unaware that the woman in her arms had already made a decision that would end everything. With a gentle voice, Saurabh said, "Let's start fresh for our daughter and for us." She nodded slowly, but her eyes drifted towards the corner of the room, where a blue plastic drum stood quietly beside a stack of cement bags. And what Muskan and a secret lover did next would erase the line between love and monstrosity. It's hard to believe how someone could do something so horrifying. Because inside that room, a silence that would soon turn into something the world would never forget. And that night was the last night Saurav Rajput was ever seen alive. And this is the true story of Muskan, Sahil, and an innocent husband, Saurav Rajput. Before this horrifying incident, there was only love, which was pure, impulsive, and blind. Love that made Saurav Rajput defy everyone who told him no. Saurav was working as a merchant navy officer who was well disciplined, a man who would seen the oceans, but he has never seen the storms that awaited him on the land. And then came Muskan Rastogi, who was outspoken, magnetic, and just reckless enough to seem thrilling. Their eyes met at a family wedding in Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, a meeting that was never meant to last, yet somehow did. They first started talking as strangers, then friends, and long before, as two people convinced that the world wouldn't understand them. And Saurav's parents were worried she was too free spirited and too different. Muskan family thought a seafarer's life meant long absence and loneliness. But love is deaf, isn't it, when it wants to be? Against every warning, they married in the year 2016. It was a small ceremony, a few relatives, and no one ever imagined that the words spoken that day would one day echo inside a courtroom. I guess for a while, life has smiled on them, and Muskan became the center of Saurabh's universe. He sent her pictures from foreign ports, little gifts from every country he docked in. And when she said she missed him too much, he did something no one expected. He said he would quit his job. A man who had spent so many years at a sea gave it all for her. They moved into a small rented house in Meerut. Saurabh only dreamed about peace, family, and a baby's laughter. In the year 2019, the dream arrived. Saurabh was blessed with a baby girl. While Saurabh saw a new beginning, Muskan saw confinement. She missed the freedom, the attention, and the excitement. Saurabh's love began to feel like a cage built out of care. So the argument started frequently. Saurabh wanted stability. She wanted thrill. And somewhere in the quiet house, affection started dying in a slow motion. Saurabh family noticed the change. They said she spent hours on phone, avoided talking to him, stopped helping him at home. He defended her every time because love is blind, isn't it? She just tried, he would say. In reality, he was tired of convincing himself that everything was fine. And on the other side, Muskan laughter grew louder outside the house and quieter inside it. She found a new company, new friends, and new thrills. And soon, one of those friends would change everything, and his name was Shail Shukla. But that is another story. One that would turn love into obsession and a home into grave. The story of Sahil in Muskan's life began long before the murder. Back in the dusty corridors of a small Meerut school, a teenage Muskan used to walk into a class with that half confident smile, that kind that made people notice her even when she said nothing. In the same classroom sat a quiet boy, that is, Shail Shukla, who was shy, polite, always sitting in the second row. They were classmates till class 8. And then life drifted them apart. Years later, in 2019, fate or perhaps something darker brought them face to face again. But this time, it was not in a classroom, but on Facebook inside an old school alumni group that had just been revived. A harmless, long time no see from Shahil turned into a private chat, a few old jokes, and soon late night conversations that would rewrite both their destinies. By 2023, Muskan's married life with Saurav Rajput looked perfect on outside. A London job, comfortable home, a new little daughter, weekend brunch pictures. Everything seemed perfect. But behind that curated perfection was emotional exhaustion. Muskan often scrolled through old chats searching for attention, and Sahil's message became her escape. He still remembered her handwriting, her laughter, and her teenage jokes. For Muskan, that familiarity felt intoxicating. But Sahil wasn't rich, wasn't ambition, but he used to listen. That made Muskan feel seen, something she hadn't felt in years. The conversation that began with school memories soon drifted into confessions, loneliness, and love. When Muskan discovered that Shahil believed deeply in spirituality and science from beyond, she saw an opening, an opportunity in disguise. Sahil had lost his mother years ago, and he was in pain, still carrying quietly. She told him softly, maybe your mother's blessings are with you, she will guide you. That's the reason she has sent me to you. Those words stuck very deep in Sahil's memory. Within days, Sahil started receiving messages from a Snapchat ID named Ma, which were warm, comforting, and full of divine assurance. One of the message was, "My son, Muskan is special. She will bring peace to your life." What Sahil did not know was that Muskan herself had created that account. Every message, every blessing, every sign from heaven came from her fingerprints. She wasn't just in his inbox, now she's inside his faith. Sahil's world began to revolve around Muskan. He skipped work to talk to her, waited for her message before sleeping, and started believing their love was a part of divine plan. When Muskan disappeared for hours, he would receive a new message from Ma saying, "My son, patience. Your path is full of tests." By 2024, Sahil was completely under the control of Muskan, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. She convinced him that their love was pure, blessed by destiny, and that one day they would live together freely. But there was one obstacle, she said, that is Saurabh Rajput, her husband. Police later found that Muskan maintained multiple social media profiles, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, to manage her double life. A Facebook feed showed a doting mother and a loving wife. Her hidden chats revealed a manipulator spinning lies with a terrifying precision. She told Sahil that her husband abused her, that she was trapped, and that Ma had chosen him to be a savior. Each lie had tightened the chain. Each message pushed Sahil deeper into a fantasy world where murder felt like redemption. By early 2014, Muskan did not have to ask Sahil for anything. She simply hinted and he obeyed. When he once texted, "Are we doing the right thing?" the Ma account replied within seconds saying, "My son, fear not. The one standing between you and peace must leave this world." That was the night Sahil stopped questioning fate. Love had turned into worship, and worship into absolute submission. After months of secret chats and late night calls, Muskan's double life had reached its peak. At home, she was a polite wife and a mother. On the phone, she was goddess in Sahil's world, the woman chosen by faith and blessed by his dead mother. Every word she spoke was a perfect calculation. If Sahil ever questioned her, a Ma account would appear again. "My son, she is your truth. The rest are illusions." Bit by bit, Muskan rewired his morality. Lies became truth. Love became duty. And in Sahil said, murder became a destiny. Muskan began portraying herself as a helpless victim. She told Sahil that Saurabh had grown abusive, that he had threatened to take away her daughter, that a only divine act could save her. She cried on calls, went silent for hours, then sent message like, "Ma says we can't live in sin anymore." The guilt, the fate, and the lust, everything blended into one emotional storm. He stopped eating properly, he quit his meeting with friends, and he began journaling verses Muskana sent him. He claimed verses were holy, but were in truth coded instructions. So in February 2024, Muskan told Sahil that Saurav was returning from London. She began scouting for ways to make his departure look natural. New SIM cards, deleted chats, a backup plan involving a blue plastic drum she kept near the storeroom. To Sahil, she said, "Once this is done, we will be free," Ma promised. She fed him fantasies of their future, a small cafe, a quiet life near hills. Every dream she gave him made the coming act feel righteous. When the day finally came, Sahil's message was short, trembling, but obedient. Muskan coordinated every move, what time to arrive, what path to take, what to carry. She spoke with utterly calm. Inside that house, Saurabh smiled, talking about his daughter and plans for dinner. Muskan's face was blank. When Saurabh went into sleep, Sahil entered the house, and they both has erased Saurabh from this planet Earth. And hours later, while the world slept, Muskan and Sahil stood over there. What they have done. To Muskan, it was a closure. To him, it was a collapse. And he asked, "Will Ma forgive us?" She replied, almost whispering, "She already has." But the universe remembers digital footprints, deleted chats, and the crushed Snapchat ID would soon reveal everything. The illusion of divine love had finally become the devil. The night was over. The house in Meerut was silent, and Saurabh Rajput, a husband, a father, and a man who simply loved too deeply, would never wake up again. What happened inside that house was nothing short of an horror wrapped in calculation. According to the police, Saurav was first seeded, then killed, and his body was cut into pieces, and each piece was stuffed inside a blue plastic drum sealed with layers of cement. The smell of death was trapped, but it wasn't erased. And while the lifeless body of her husband lay inside the drum, Muskan and Sahil did something that stunned even the police. They went out for a tour, and Muskan messaged her family members and Saurav family members saying that we are both going on a tour. Please don't disturb us. As Saurav came from London, we want to enjoy. But in reality, Muskan and Sahil were on tour. They were laughing, they were enjoying. They even took selfies on the way as if nothing had happened. To the world, they were just two people on a casual evening. But inside them, the bond was built by guilt, delusion, and deceit. Days passed and the phone call grew more desperate. Saurabh's parents, siblings, and friends kept trying to reach him in the morning, noon, and late at night. But each time the phone rang, it seemed to be Muskan answering, saying Saurabh is busy, he's okay, he will call you soon. But he never did. Meanwhile, overseas relatives logged into his social media account and found posts from him saying scenic holiday snaps, check ins, even excuses of a business meeting, all posted while he was silent, all orchestrated to keep worry at bay. Finally, Muskan and her lover returned from the hill station. Muskan straight reached the family home in Meerut with the same calm voice saying, "Ma, Saurabh isn't coming back." When her mother asked why what happened, she says in a sorrow tone, "He is in the drum." She stood before them, composed, and delivered the truth. And when police came and saw the drum was bloody heavy and bloody smelly. Whole India was in shock. How can some be so cruel? Later, when police arrested them, it just took hours of questioning before Muskan finally spoke. Her words were very simple. "I did what I had to. He never understood me. He was in my way." And psychologists called her a textbook manipulator, someone capable of emotional mimicry, not empathy. A woman who didn't just plan a murder, she orchestrated it like a performance. Sahil, on the other hand, collapsed in clothes, crying, apologizing, calling himself blind. He said, "I thought she was sent by God, but she was the devil in disguise." But the truth is, Muskan might be a perfect manipulator, but Sahil should have thought 1,000 times before what he has done. This is a reminder how manipulators can wear mask of love, how faith can be twisted, how a message from Ma on screen can become a weapon in the hands of someone who knows exactly which emotion to control. The story of Muskan and Saurabh wasn't just a murder, it was far more beyond that. And that's it for today. I am Sai from SPK Reports, unmasking crime one story at a time.